All right, Wayne Bettis here, the founder of the Off the Tools podcast. I just want to introduce you to our brand new sponsor, directplumbing.supplies.com. It is founded by a former tradesman who has set up his own plumbing and heating merchants. He has an online shop, which is obviously at directplumbing.supplies.com, and he delivers across the UK. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Good morning. Today I want to talk about a simple social media strategy that, if followed, will guarantee to increase awareness of you, your brand, and ultimately get you more work. So I know everyone talks about paid marketing, but there's this strategy that I'm going to go through today. It doesn't cost you a penny in money, but it does take a little bit of time, commitment, and consistency. It's all simple stuff. And it's something that I've used and I use now, to generate awareness and to generate leads and ultimately just to become part of the community. So I'll kick it off with, everyone lives in a different area across the UK, but there is one commonality, and that commonality is there's hundreds of local Facebook groups. So my one, for example, you've got Dunstable Chat, you've got Luton Chat, you've got, loads of different, the villages. There's all different groups that are filled with potential clients that may need your service at some point. So the first part of the strategy is to identify the groups that you want to be a part of. I would recommend between 3 and 6, because as you'll see with what I'm going to talk about this morning, you could join 20, but it becomes very difficult to manage this strategy with that many. So between 3 and 6, find the bigger ones, the more engaging ones, the ones that you spot that there's lots of engagement. Join them groups. Make a list of them so you know where to go back to, because this, again, as part of the strategy, you're going to be going back. Once you've joined the group, I don't know if you know this, but when you're in a group, you can actually edit your profile that group sees. So this is very important, because what you're going to do is you're going to edit your profile picture and your little bio for that group to clearly tell them what you do. Again, as you go through this morning, you'll see it all starts to make sense. So that's the first thing you need to do. Join the group. Second thing you need to do is edit that profile so if people do engage with you, they can quickly see, oh, okay, Tom's a plumber. So make sure you change your profile picture, not on your main profile. As I say, in the group, you can edit your profile for that group. Okay, so make that very clear. Then what you're going to do is you're not going to start posting about what you do. This is where most people fall foul of, just shouting into the wind about what they do. What you're going to do is you're going to strategically comment on things that are happening in the group. So the way I manage this is I set a time every week that I go in and I engage in the group. So I'm not doing it every day, because it's a bad habit. You don't want to be sat on Facebook scrolling through, scraping through. So using my non-negotiable diary, I schedule in a set time for that to happen. So don't forget that part, because if you don't schedule it in, the chances are you'll either not do it or you'll do it very randomly. And being consistent here is fundamentally one of the most important parts. As with anything that we do, being consistent in anything is one of the hardest but most important parts of it. So once you've scheduled your time to go in and comment, what you're going to do is you're not going to mention anything that you do. Unless there's a specific post that suits you to say, oh yeah, I'm a plumber. Generally, you're just going to engage. So if Jackie from down the road has commented about a missing cat, comment in there, offer support. If there's people asking questions, engage, be friendly, become part of that community. Okay. I have an hour a week where I scroll through my local groups and I just engage. And That's why I said between 3 and 6, because if you join too many, you can't become an active member of all of them groups, because there's just too much to do. Whereas between 3 and 6, you should be able to quickly, spend 10, 15 minutes in each group and just offer support. If you know the answer to a question that they're talking about, put your penny's worth in. If someone's wanting a recommendation for a new kitchen or whatever it might be, share your experience. Become part of that community. That's the fundamental goal. The goal right now isn't to generate leads, okay? It's to become part of that community. And the reason we do that is, now we look back at that first step that we did about editing our profile. For those that are interested, they're going to have clicked on your profile, and that's the group profile. Remember, I keep stressing that because that's very important. It's not your main profile. Each group, you can have a separate little bio, you can have a separate image, so utilize it. That will clearly showcase, because there will be people as your name starts to crop up, people will start to see what you do, and over time and consistent effort, people will start to recommend you. Okay, what we don't want to do is just jump in a group and start saying, oh, I'm a heating engineer, I'm an electrician, this is what I do. Okay, unless there's a specific post that is requesting someone for that, then you can. But we're not going in there to sell initially. We're going in there to engage and become part of that community. So just to recap, join the groups that you need to join, find the most engaging ones, edit your profile, okay? Set a time in the non-negotiable diary to go in and become an active member of these groups. Comment, engage, ask questions that aren't related to what you do, just become a known name in that community, because trust me, once people get to recognize your name, they will start to trust you, okay? And over time, over a sort of 1 to 3 month period, people start to have seen your name. They would have clicked on your profile. There might be the odd post where you can directly say what you are, and then the snowball starts. And this is the key, because everyone wants an instant result. And unfortunately, there's not many things that you can get an instant result on. Whereas this strategy, trust me, it works for me. It works for some of you guys that have already implemented this, and it works for thousands of people across the country. So, but again, I'm coming back to that word. It's that consistent effort. If you do it once or twice a month and then you stop, okay, you're not really making any impact. You've got to show up regularly, and you've got to be helpful. You've got to lead with value. That is fundamentally one of the most important parts of it. Lead with value. Don't try to sell. Lead with help, support. That there is so many posts in these groups that you've got ample opportunity to get tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people to see your name, and then from that, that brand awareness of you, and if you use the logos right in your profile picture in the group and stuff, your brand starts to get out there. And trust me, guys, this will snowball fairly quickly to the point where you're getting recommended, people are tagging you in, and then that's when the leads start to come, okay? But you've got to be patient. There's no quick way to do this. If you look at, I'll give you an example that you guys would have seen, okay, because you're sat here now. I've used this exact strategy to build my coaching business, okay? And I use the strategy in my heating business as well, but I wanted to give the example of Off the Tools as the prime example, because, you've all been in Off the Tools, so you've seen it in action, right? For 2-3 years, I didn't really offer a service. I did the podcast, which was free. I used to post blogs, articles, which I don't do as much now, but because I'm nice and busy. But when I wasn't, I was posting valuable content. I was leading with value to you guys and beyond, everybody else, to the point where you associated me with what you wanted help with, okay? And it works exactly the same in any industry. But I wanted to use the Off the Tools one as an example, because a lot of you would have actually physically been a subject of it, because you would have read one of my blogs, you would have listened to my podcast, you would have seen some of my videos, you would have certainly read my posts, that I post into the group, which again, ultimately, a lot of them are leading with some sort of value. There's very few posts that I actually post that says, come and join my coaching program. Okay. I very rarely, I can count on one hand over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, how many posts I've done where I've actually directly said, come and join, because all of the other work, the leading with the value, being consistent, showing up, was enough for most of you to join me. Okay. And like I say, it works exactly the same in the heating industry, in the electrical industry, in the roofing industry. It's all the same. Customers are customers. You're a client of mine is no different to a client of my boiler company. Okay. We're humans. We all have the same bodies and minds, and we all work the same. Okay, so lead with value. That is like the strongest message there that I can give. Another good little tactic of leading with value is putting together a few short videos. Again, not selling. Okay, obviously wear a nice top with your logo on and introduce yourself as Wayne Bettis from Your New Boiler, or whatever your company is called. But ultimately, do a video that leads with value. So something like how to avoid an emergency call out this winter, and show you topping up a system or bleeding a radiator, or helpful tips to make sure your heating's in tip-top condition, and show turning it on in the summer and adjusting the clocks and adjusting the thermostated valves and all that sort of thing. You have the opportunity to create a lot of content that you can give away for free. That I know some of you might sit there and say, oh well, if we tell them how to top up a pressure, we're not going to get the call out. Yeah, okay, you might subsequently lose a couple of small jobs that you could have maybe charged a call out for, but we've got to look at that longer picture, that bigger game, that you're building trust, because trust and rapport ultimately will lead to sales. And you can't force trust and rapport. That takes consistency, that takes time, that takes effort. Okay, so it's very important that you sort of try to avoid that trap of instant gratification. And what I mean by instant gratification, which is even more so prevalent in the younger generation, is instant gratification is where you do something and you want that reward straight away. Okay, whereas that's okay in some cases. You need to get paid, you need to pay your bills. But where possible, if you can stretch that horizon of the reward. So like, again, I'm going to use Off the Tools as the example, because you guys have physically gone through that journey with me, right? I posted and engaged and offered all of this value for probably 2 to 3 years before I started to monetize it. Okay. So that is a prime opposite of instant gratification. Okay, I could have gone straight in and tried to get a few of you signed up years ago, and struggled to get, but I might have earned some money. But I was willing to sacrifice the money to build that rapport and build that trust, so that when I wanted to sell, you would have that trust and rapport, so I wouldn't necessarily have to sell you to join that course. And again, I've used it and still use it in the heating business that I've got. Clients that are watching this, some of you will be watching this, that are already implementing this strategy, but a lot of you I haven't had this session with, so hopefully this is new information to give you some ideas. So remember, there's a few key points that you need to remember here. And fundamentally, you've got to find them groups, okay? So that will take you 10, 15 minutes, search on Facebook. There's also a good app called Nextdoor. I won't lie, I don't use it because I haven't got the time to add that into my strategies. But if you've got a little bit of extra time, or you've been on Nextdoor before, it's very similar to like a Facebook group in regards to like you're in your local area, so you can use this strategy in there. So tip number 1 is to simply find the groups that you want to join and join them. And ultimately, you can't edit that profile until you become a member. So make sure you answer the questions to join the group. You tick that you abide by the rules, etc., etc. Once you're in, Tip number 2 is edit that profile. Very, very important. Change the image, change the header photo, change the bio. It doesn't change it on your main profile. It only changes it on the group profile. So if Nosy Parker sees your name, clicks on it, the first thing that comes up is a mini profile for that group, and it will clearly tell them who you are, what you do, hopefully a logo in the background, stuff to get some brand awareness. Okay, so tip number 3 is engage and lead with value. So do not just go in there and start posting outside taps for 50 quid or boiler servicing for 90 quid. Don't mention what you do for as long as you can, really. Just go in, read the posts and answer questions. Disagree, you don't have to agree with everyone, engage, but becoming part of the debate or the question or the discussion that's happening. There'll be hundreds of posts that give you the opportunity to get hundreds, if not thousands, of people to see your name and subsequently start to learn a little bit about who you are and what you do. Okay, and all of that work is like tip number 4, really, is where you just become part of the community. Okay, people start to trust your name. They start to realize that you're not just trying to sell to them, that you're actually there to become part of that community. Obviously, if the opportunity comes, like I said, you can do that. You can post if there's someone directly asking for an electrician and you're an electrician, stick your details in, because again, part of the strategy, people start to see your name, they'll see that you've posted that, and they start putting 2 and 2 together. Tip number 5, be patient and be consistent. Okay, so you're not going to get an instant reward on this. You've got to forget that you're trying to get more leads and build a business. All you're trying to do at this point is just embed yourself into these communities. Okay, don't forget that, because if you start just posting about what you do, you might pick up some odd jobs, you might get some work, but you're not really becoming part of the community, and you're going to limit the longer term effect of this strategy. So what I would love you guys to do is go off and do what we've just spoke about. I'd love for some of you to feedback and post into the groups and stuff that are there, and tell us how you do what you're doing, what's the response like, how things are going, and maybe share some tips and tricks that you pick up on the way. So that's just a very short little video on a simple, free social media strategy. I hope it helps some of you, and I look forward to seeing the results roll in. Have a good day.
I really hope you enjoyed the show. I just wanted to pull it out there for anyone listening that I offer business coaching, but also life coaching. My life is centered around something called the 3 Bs, which stands for body, business, and balance. When you work with me as a coach, we tackle all 3 aspects of life. So you as an individual, body, mindset, health, fitness, knowledge, education. Business B obviously stands for your business, improving, maximizing opportunities, elevating, making more money. And balance stands for your friends, family, loved ones, making time for everything in your life. And the 3 Bs is the core element to that. If you'd like to learn more, I would ask you to reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you might be consuming my information. Or you can email me directly at wayne@offthetools.co.uk. I'm here waiting to assist you to elevate across all aspects of life. Have a good one. No excuses. Let's go.